Wes here, and welcome to day 28 of SHOCKTOBERFEST 2021. Wow, almost losing my voice there for a moment. Today we've got a classic that has been spawning multiple sequels. We're not doing the 101s anymore, folks. I figured nowadays we'll just do an individual movie from the series and have some fun and delve into each and every one. But, rabble, today we're talking about Tobe Hooper's classic from 1974, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I know what you're thinking right now. You're probably thinking, Wes, you've had how many Shocktoberfests, you've done how many movies, how in the hell have you not done the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Well, there's an answer to that. Think about how many movies I have in my collection in the horror genre, and how many that people have requested over the past. Well, guess what? This one really wasn't requested. Sorry about it. Chop Top would even be mad from part 2, saying, "What? You didn't request the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, dude? What's your problem? It's like not wanting to listen to the Iron Butterflies in a Vita de Gato." I think Beetlejuice is back. I don't know. So I'm getting the... Maybe it's because Halloween's almost here. I'm getting the vibes, the feels of kind of getting in that horror spirit. So anyways, that being said, let's delve into the film. So the story begins with two siblings named Sally and Franklin who find out that their grandfather's grave got pretty much vandalized. And they're driving out to the outskirts of Texas to go to the cemetery and investigate to find out maybe if they can get some clues. While they're doing that, they have their friends Kirk, Jerry, and Pam with them to pretty much give them some company along the way. While they're driving through the outskirts of Texas, they meet a strange hitchhiker that needs a ride. Well, when they're driving him around, they notice he's pretty off. There's something really odd about him. He takes a lot of pictures. When he takes a picture of Franklin, he asks him for money, and Franklin just kind of laughs and says, "No, I don't have any money. I can't really pay you." The hitchhiker goes berserk, pulls out a straight razor, and cuts his arm open. Well, they kick the hitchhiker out of the car, or actually I should say the van, and drive off. As they're running low on gas, and as well as running low on directions, the group find an old house and are trying to see if anybody's there so they can get some help. Well, it turns out this house that they're going into is the house of the Sawyer family. Now, we're not going to delve much into that until maybe another episode in the near future, maybe next year with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. However, the movie shows more the character of Leatherface than anybody else until later on in the film. Leatherface is a large, overgrown man with a mask made of human skin. It's all old and leathery.
Hence the name Leatherface, right, folks?
Sorry, my sarcasm's pretty bad today. So Leatherface is picking off some of these kids one by one. The first one that encounters Leatherface is Kirk. He gets cracked in the head with pretty much a little mini sledgehammer, like a mallet. Pam gets attacked from behind and put up on some meat hooks. Later on, put in a freezer where she hasn't been, properly disposed of yet. And Jerry finds Pam and eventually just gets beaten to death. So while they're all getting picked off, Sally and Franklin are roaming in the woods, and I guess you could say they get a little lost until they run into Leatherface, and Franklin in his wheelchair runs into Leatherface's chainsaw. So yeah, there's that. Sally's running around screaming, frantic, trying to figure out how to get away. She is able to get away from Leatherface and gets out towards the town and goes to a gas station, finds the proprietor there. He says, "Just calm down, everything's going to be all right." And she passes out, only to find herself back at the Sawyer house. And she finds out the proprietor is none other than Mr. Sawyer himself, the big main cannibal of the group, Dad. Oh, and then you find out that the hitchhiker is actually one of the family members. So they've got her tied up, and pretty much they're going to tear her open. Somehow she manages to escape again, while the hitchhiker and Leatherface are chasing after her. Well, the hitchhiker doesn't have so much luck in this as he gets run over by a semi-truck, and then Leatherface is attacking another semi-truck driver. He gets away, and while he gets away, he pushes Leatherface down, and his chainsaw goes through his leg. While this is going on, Sally finds him, nearby a car or a truck that's leaving. She gets on the back. She drives away to escape Leatherface, where he pretty much throws a temper tantrum, waving his chainsaw around. until the next movie. One thing I wasn't a big fan of in this movie was the character of Franklin. Now, it's not because he was an invalid in a wheelchair, because there have been a lot of other horror films where there's been a character in a wheelchair. I mean, one of them in particular, there's, Friday the 13th Part 2. I mean, obviously, and there's been other ones. I mean, hell, even in the Child's Play series in, I believe it's Curse and Cult of Chucky, we have a character in a wheelchair. It's not because of that. It's the way how the character of Franklin is portrayed. He's portrayed as kind of a, I guess you could say, a wet blanket. Just very wishy-washy and very just, I guess you could say needy. Just needing so much attention and just acting like everything is just so stupid. I mean, it sounds like kids today with their phones, just like...
Everything is so stupid.
No, but I mean, but then in this case, Franklin pushes that to the nth degree. And maybe I think when his character does get killed off, I'm sure there's a good portion of the audience that cheered loudly because they're like, yay, the annoying character is dead. But, you know, regardless, I think they played him a little too over the top, and it was, I mean, maybe they're trying to make it funny, but I just feel like it wasn't that funny at all. One thing that I do like about this film and appreciate is the absence of music. There isn't much music in this film at all. I mean, there are some special effects, some sound effects from time to time. However, when it comes to music in general, not so much. And I think the absence of that makes a movie so much more intense. I believe I said this about another movie prior to this. I want to say it was the Crazies that I said that, you know, some of the absence of music was pretty intense in this one, because when you don't hear a whole lot of background noise in a movie, the only thing that you could hear and the only thing you can feel is your own heartbeat while you're watching a scary movie. And in this situation, especially with jump scares from the late, great Gunnar Henson as Leatherface, make it that much more special. Another thing about the absence of music is, when I'm talking about the intensity, is the dinner scene at the end where Sally is tied up and the Sawyer family are just laughing at her, you know, insanely laughing at her, and all the close-ups. There's a lot of close-ups in this movie where they show characters, whether it's just laughing, being very calm in their demeanor, and also a lot of close-ups and quick pans to areas of the Sawyer house with bones and a lot of chicken feathers and things that are rather disturbing. That makes the movie even more intense and even more creative, especially for being filmed in 1974. So now it's time to grade this movie. Now, apart from the, you know, Franklin being kind of a wishy-washy character, the movie holds up. I mean, the movie holds up to the point where, you know, even though they made a lot of sequels and a lot of reboots and a lot of okay, let's stop talking about the lot ofs. We're talking about the first one here. Wes, get a grip. The first one holds up, I would say, probably better than most of the movies in the franchise. And that being said, I'm giving this movie a solid A because it deserves it. I mean, Tobe Hooper, while he was alive, made some other great films. I mean, he made the Poltergeist. He made, I mean, I could go down the list, but right now, we're just going to talk about those two. I mean, if it weren't for Texas Chainsaw, he wouldn't have made Poltergeist. He wouldn't have made quite a number of other films. He wouldn't have guest starred directing for a lot of TV shows. And you know what? It's sad that he's been gone for a while, but his legacy does live on with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, R.I.P. Tobe, and thank you for this movie. Other than that, we hope you enjoyed this review. Make sure you leave a thumbs up. Leave a thumbs down if you didn't agree with some of my opinions on the review. But most importantly, please share on social media, and as always, push that little red button, and don't forget to ring the bell for instant notifications on Dragonfire Entertainment. Until then, I'm Wildman Wes, and we hope to see you tomorrow for day 29 of SHOCKTOBERFEST 2021. Stay tuned, and as always, stay scared.